Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Props of the Week. Once again, King of Crackdown with Pro Smoke Bets, giving you the props of the week. So, props of the week for UFC 319, Plessis versus Chimaev. Let's just not beat around the bush. Let's get right to it. So, first prop of the week is Kareem Silva by decision or points at plus 120. I think it's an evenly matched fight. Probably go the distance. I think, you just say go the distance, probably like a lock play, and that's probably at like minus 300. But you want that plus money. So Kareem Silva about points at plus 120 should, be the fighter that's better able to get it to the ground. Barbosa, spends a lot of time on her back a lot of times. So I think Silva can exploit that to a decision, close fight. Next one is Carlos Prace by KO at plus 125. Carlos Prace is a finisher. He's coming off like his first UFC loss. I think he'll be motivated, especially seeing the success of his other teammates and them having big fights. So, and also just think Jeff Neal is like a role player. I've really seen him like elevate at the elite level, or like well, not the elite level, but I guess at the top level. Like it's elite level, and then there's the top level. Like as far as like guys when you start getting that top 10, it's feel like once he gets his level, like he just becomes a role player. And I think Price is going to be the bigger, longer, younger striker. Should be able to put him away. And Price is not really a decisionator. So Price at plus 125 by KO. And also, it's not like Price is a submission artist either. So pretty much KO or decision, and most likely KO for Price, in my opinion. So Price by KO at plus 125 is my next prop. And then probably the biggest and best prop I have for this card is Mershart sub at plus 450. Oleg Zaychuk has been submitted 3 times out of his last 4 losses. And I think we look at all of his losses, the majority of his losses have been by submission. And Mershart is, great in dog spots. He's great going against guys that, have submission grappling weaknesses. And that definitely all lines up with Oleg Zaychuk. Who do you beat? He beat Cedric Dumas. That's no real feat. And now you're going with Mershart, who's a proven, savvy veteran. Also, Mershart, what's Mershart's last loss? Well, he lost to one of the best guys, one of the best takedown defense of Brad Tavares. So that's the issue because Tavares has, again, like 90, 89% takedown defense. So how you going to submit a guy you can't take down and also savvy in the ground? It still was a relatively competitive fight. Another fight, he lost to Rainer the Ritter, who just ran through Bo Nickel and just beat Robert Whitaker. So that loss actually aged pretty well. Like he was giving, matter of fact, he probably was the second hardest fight for Rainer the Ritter in the UFC so far. So, and also Rainer the Ritter, like how you going to submit a guy who's like a BJJ world champion? So, yeah, he tough stylistic match versus a guy who doesn't have the best takedown defense and has been submitted probably like 5 times or 6 times in his career. And out of his 4 most recent losses, he's been submitted 3 of the 4 times. So, yeah, Mershart by sub is streaming live, and that's Mershart's bread and butter. So, Mershart by sub at plus 450. Next one, Lerone Murphy by decision at plus 260. Yeah, Pico is taking a huge step. But like Pico's good, but again, it's hard to really just come in and jump right to pretty much a title shot. Like, oh, if I beat this guy, I'll get a title shot. Yeah, I guess I understand the optics. Pico is the best wrestler that Murphy has ever fought. Murphy's European. Murphy has had issues with wrestlers. Like Emmett took him down. This guy took him down. They took him down. But he beat all those guys. You're saying he lost that he had issue with. And also, like Pico has shown particularly great cardio. And we look at who has Pico beat, like, the athleticism there. He passed the picture test and the video test. But when we look at the resume test, who has he really beaten? Like, yes, he avenged one of his losses, but the guy was like turning 40 at a time, and he had no business losing him to the first time. I think Murphy, as far as anybody he has beaten, Murphy is far better than anybody that Pico has beaten. I'm not gonna say he trained with. I'm not gonna say this, that, but as far as who he actually been in the cage with and fought, Murphy is by far the best guy, or better than anybody he has beaten. Matter of fact, he's probably better than anybody he has fought, to be honest. Who has Pico really fought? Because Pico lost to a lot of questionable people, especially early on in his career. But yeah, who has Pico really been in the cage with? Not really too many big names. You can't say, oh, he's been in with this guy, been that guy, he's been with this former UFC champion and this and that. It just hasn't happened for him. But so yeah, I like Murphy's experience at this level. I like the fact that he's already more than got his feet wet at the UFC level. And Murphy, high key, does got some decent striking defense. So Murphy by decision, I like that a lot at plus 260. And then the final one is Kamsa sub at plus 130. I feel like Drake is very unorthodox and scrambles a lot in weird ways. And we've been seeing like Darren Till, be in good positions against him on the ground. We've seen what's his name? Tavares in some good position on the ground. We've seen Derek Brunson have amazing positions on the ground with him. And the thing with Drick is he has never really fought an elite grappler in the UFC yet in their prime. Like Whitaker is more of a striker. Adesanya's a striker. Sean Strickland's a striker. Till's a striker. He fought Derek Brunson, but Derek Brunson was like 40 years old, and Derek Brunson still was giving a lot of feet. So now they're going in with a big, young, hungry Complex, who's probably the best grappler he's ever fought, and now Complex in his prime. I feel like a lot of mistakes that Dricus makes on the ground will lend himself to getting caught in a submission and sub. So Complex submission at plus 130 is my final prop, or our final prop. So run through them again. Kareem Silva by points, plus 120. Carlos Prace by KO, plus 125. Mearshot sub, plus 450. Murphy decision, plus 260. And Kamzat sub, plus 130. So how do you feel about these props, Pro Smo?
Fire takes as always, man. It sounds like you had ran your metrics on it. You have expected value there on the lines. And my God, look, just with Karini Silva, who's a strong wrestler, she's facing Dione Barboza, who's a strong prospect, like Gabriela Fernandez and many other flyweights. And these girls have a few things in common, right? Whether it's
Mm-hmm. Did your mic cut out? Hello?
they could hang on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, they can hang, so they'll be able to wrestle. And I think why this match is made is because at least you get Karini Silva striking, and we know she fares well there. She fought Marina Moroz, who's a national champ in her country, so that's good. And then Carlos Prats, I mean, you see those high knees, you see his patient striking after round one and two. I hope he gets to finish Geoff News coming back injuries in one of these episodes from Embedded. The strength and conditioning or physiotherapist told him, "Hey, how's your elbow? We've been working on it for 4 weeks now." And Geoff couldn't even believe he spoke out loud that way on camera. I can't even believe they snuck it through there for us to watch. But yeah, he's got an ailing elbow too, so that's not good. PCL, MCL. I mean, he's got neck issues, so that's good for Prats. I hope this puts him on the map. You have Man, I'm not surprised. Michelle Achechuk getting subbed by Mearshart. What a take. That's great. I mean, like you said, not only on numbers is this man cashing at dog money, and he does have good competition he's faced. Aaron Pico, like you said, it's Murphy or no one here. Why? Because Murphy is just talent that you see at top five level. Nothing like you would find on the regional scenes or competitive promotions like PFL, or one championship to UFC, so on and so forth. So, and then of course, Hamza Chimaev by submission. Man, I'd be surprised, really. And if he does sub him, it's incredible. Man, Dricus is huge. He's big for middleweight. He's too stocky. You can't muscle through everything, and then you can't plan for everything. Like he got over Trevin Giles. I mean, he was playing possum against the octagon wall, and then came back with a right cross to put him out. But he was losing that fight. The old boy here, Driscus, was losing that fight. So, yeah, like everything, with Adesanya, so on and so forth. But man, the frame matters. So Dricus's frame is not very welcoming at middleweight, just like Robert Whitaker. That's why they have to resort to striking, and that's what helped Dricus through and through. It's the K1 kickboxing experience. So if Hamza gets a sub here, wow, I mean, you're right. Dricus is nothing great on the ground. Unfortunately, he's no wrestler or grappler. I don't even think he holds a jiu-jitsu belt, to be honest, unless it was provided by his own gym. And then, the credentialing is, again, systematic and very biased, to their fighters. So who knows, right? But yeah, man, if he does, man, wow, what a historic fight. And yeah, there we go, UFC 319, man.
Yeah. So that has been our props of the week for UFC 319, do Plessis versus Chimaev. Thanks for watching. Sub to his channel, sub to my channel. And catch y'all next time for the next props of the week. Peace.